Hello, Joplin residents. Today is September 26, 2023. Hey, I'd like to continue our conversation about reducing panhandling and homelessness in Joplin, Missouri. But I'd like to focus on one location in particular today. That way we can cut down the time. Let's look at 15th Street and Walmart. I ran into something very interesting today, which surprised me. So as I went into Walmart, I got this picture up on the screen here. So this is a van that was parked here today, but this tent has been here for, I would say, weeks. I can't give the exact time, but I've been by here in this tent's been here for quite a while. There was someone on the driver's side, face up against the wheel. I don't know if he was sleeping or unconscious. I'm not sure. So, I started thinking after driving through from Rangeline into Walmart last few weeks, there's always been a minimum of at least five vehicles like this that are just parked there. I want to show you something. There's no license plate on the rear of this vehicle, and you say, "Oh, it's on the front." Well, let's go back here. No, there's not one on the front either. There's actually no license plate on this vehicle whatsoever. And they're parking here, or they're camping here. So I wonder, aren't there ordinances and laws that basically say you have to have a license plate on your vehicle? They're pretty bold. They must obviously don't care about the police seeing them without a license plate. So I thought, well, let me go in here and talk to the manager at Walmart. So I walked into customer service. And I said, "May I speak to the manager on public safety or over your parking lots and security?" And she goes, "Well, that would be me. You're talking to the right person." I'm like, "Oh, great." I'm like, "Have you noticed that there's people that are camping out there?" And I'll be honest with you, for my wife or my mother to go through this parking lot, I don't feel safe. And she goes, "Oh, yeah, we don't either, because we actually have to walk our employees out at night for specifically that reason." And I said, "Well, why don't you guys do something?" "Well, that's not our parking lot." I'm like, "Really? What do you mean that's not your parking lot?" I said, "Yeah, we don't own that parking lot. Slumberlands owns that parking lot." So I thought, wow, okay. Well, and she goes, "Yeah, we do not allow people to park like that or camp or solicit inside our parking lot." I said, "Oh, that's great to know. I'm glad to hear that." So I decided, well, let me get in my car. And my wife and I drove over to Slumberlands. So I walk in the store and talk to the assistant manager, who, by the way, is a really great guy. And I asked him, I said, "So what's the deal with you guys letting all these people occupy your parking lot?" And let's be clear on our terms. Let's don't say camp or, rest. They are occupying private property, and they're occupying public property. So let's call it what it is. It's occupation. They're occupying that property, okay? So I went, and the Slumberland assistant manager said, "Hey, that's not our property. That belongs to Walmart." And I'm like, "Really? I just left Walmart, and they said the property belongs to you." So I'm scratching my head thinking, well, this is crazy. Each store manager thinks the other store manager is responsible for that parking lot. So I thought, well, this is crazy. So let me get on this website that actually, shows the property boundaries and who actually owns them. But before I do that, I just want to, real quick, I'll just show you a couple pictures just from today. Now, we didn't take a bunch of them, but so again, no license plate right here, camping. This van's been here for a long time. Okay. These people have been here for at least 60 to 90 days, and they're parking closer towards the range line, a little bit further west of the main Walmart parking lot. And I'll show you on the map here in just a second. And these are the people that are on the streets and on the corners. They're not very inviting. Hey, I'm not judging. But when you solicit and ask for things from me, when I don't ask you for your input, I don't like it. I don't like people approaching my car. I don't like people approaching my wife or my mother. I just don't like it. And it's a safety issue for us, So again, Walmart and Rangeline. Let me actually pull it up on the website, okay? So let me orient you to this map. This is Walmart here. This is Rangeline, right? So this nifty little tool here will tell you. So if you click on the Walmart, right, down here at the bottom it says Walmart Real Estate Business, and it's got their address, Bentonville, Arkansas. Okay, cool, got it. So I click on the parking lot next to it. This one says Market Parking Incorporated, Property Tax Department, 13th and Rangeline. So I'm wondering, what's Property Tax Department? So if there's anybody out there that actually can tell me what that means, is this a TIF district, or what exactly is Market Parking Incorporated Property Tax Department? But the parking lot in concern is this one right here. So this is Slumberlands. This is where everybody parks. They'll park up in these woods. They'll jump the fence at Slumberlands, like the assistant manager told me. They got about 150 feet back here, and they're consistently having people hide out back in here, okay? So when you go down here and look at it, it says Joplin Real Estate Investments, 342 East Main Street, 100, Suite 100, Leola, Pennsylvania, 17540, right? So, hey, well, the owners aren't even in Joplin. Let me look on here to Google Maps and see where this is at. So here's the phone number, 717-656-4100. Here's the address. This is a picture, of the company, I guess, that owns that bit of real estate right there. My question is, because when you're trying to solve a problem or get an answer to a question, you got to get all the facts. And we have in Joplin, we have public property, we have private property. Okay, so the police in the city, they're actually responsible for that public property. Well, and they're holding us citizens accountable for the private property. That's why they're demolishing old homes that aren't up to code or didn't pay their taxes or whatever it might be, right? So when we talk about solving the problem, if we're having a problem in this parking lot, which obviously are because people are occupying it, and if you don't feel safe, we pay taxes for public safety, right? So either the city council or the city mayor or the city leadership in general is responsible for our public safety. That's what we pay our taxes to, and that's what, they swear the JPD does a great job. Man, they're overworked, underpaid, and the stuff that they have to go through, can't even imagine, right? So let's talk about public responsibility and accountability. So who's the owner of this property? Where are they? How do we get in contact with them if they're in Pennsylvania? Do we write them letters, or should we be able to go through our city council and say, listen, I request that you write the owners of this property just like you're writing the letters to individual homeowners about, leaves in their yard or tree limbs, or you get a complaint about, clutter in your yard. And then you send a letter, you send somebody out and say, hey, you got to clean this up or you're going to get fined. Well, hey, city council, I'd really like for you to contact the owner of this real estate and tell them it's a public safety issue with letting, people live in the parking lot and create an unsafe or present an unsafe environment. And these employees, I've talked to these employees, they don't feel safe. And in our next video, we're going to talk about a second location down on 7th and Main. And this one's quite intriguing because I spent several days observing this location. And this is just not panhandling or homelessness, I think, that we have throughout Joplin going, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about an organized group of individuals that are operating in what we would call a wolf pack mentality, that are preying on innocent, soft-hearted people. So that's going to be in our next video. So let me just point out a couple of things before I end this up. Like I said, Leola, Pennsylvania, 717-656-4100. That's the name on that property that has been unattended and untaken care of for months and months and months. And let's look back here on this slide real quick. I'm just going to go through and hit a couple things, keep us on the same sheet of music. You know, part of this conversation is I'm trying to build and collaborate with like-minded citizens in Joplin, Missouri that just say, hey, you know what? What's happening now is not working for the good citizen, the taxpayer, the hardworking American. Whatever is happening in Joplin is not working, obviously. So I'm trying to get like-minded people to kind of take a few minutes out of every day and be part of the solution. And the first part of any solution is really understanding the problem before we jump to conclusions. You know, I see everybody say, oh, we got to help the homeless. Let's throw more money at them. Let's donate blankets and soup, and, you know, let's get them into AA and, you know, all these different programs, which all of them are great ideas if the problem set demands those type of resources, right? Problem and then the solution. Not every problem's the same. So let's first look at who owns the property that homeless and panhandlers have occupied. So as you're going through Joplin, I'd like to ask you a question. In the military, we call these PIRs, Priority Information Requirements. And so we would put out to our troops on the ground certain questions. So if you run across, for example, a homeless and a panhandler where they're either living or occupied, take a picture and get the location. I've created a website called megalocally.com. You're welcome to register on that. You can update the location, upload the picture. There's buttons. You don't even have to type anything. You just click homeless or panhandler or whatever the situation, and you can ask for support. Request prayer, request the city look at this issue, request to share on social media, whatever you want to try to collect this solution, right? So the second part of that is, are some of the panhandlers and homeless operating as Wolfpack? So here's what I'm going to tell you. On the second video, I'm going to definitely point out where they are. So I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm trying to keep this video somewhat short, but the next video, we're going to focus in on Wolfpack second location. And here's my question. Do you feel safe to shop businesses that have been occupied by these Wolfpacks? Or even if it's not a Wolfpack, it's just a aggressive panhandler or a panhandler in general. Let me know what you think about that. Are they the victim, or are you, the concerned citizen, the victim? So if you're dealing with the wolf pack, you're the victim. And we're going to get into that on the next video. Are these wolf packs part of an organized underbelly that is putting citizens in danger? You know, I've spent the last couple weeks observing our parks, these crime hotspots, these panhandling hotspots, these homeless occupation hotspots. And I talked in my last video about Marxist ideology, and there's many Marxist ideologists on Facebook, and their whole job is to isolate the average American citizen into thinking that you're a bad person, or you're uneducated, or you're not progressive, and you're not wanting to fix the problem. You don't want to support the solution. That's a bunch of garbage. All they are is masking a problem because they like socialism. They like free handouts. They want everybody to be the same. Communism and Marxism. Look those two words up. Understand the difference between them. And Marxism, Leninism, and ask yourself, is this what's going on across America? Is this what's happening in our community? Are these liberals that are jumping on you on Facebook and, have they brainwashed a group of our leadership or a group of our public citizens to think that, the criminals are not actually criminals and that, everybody is a victim? Well, we're not all, we're not always trying to, I'm trying to say this correctly because I don't want people to get this the wrong way. I think we all want to help, but we all don't know how to help. It's because we don't understand the problem correctly, and we haven't taken the time to really look at the different parts of the problem. And you can't lump everybody into as a, someone that needs help. Some need help for mental illness. Some need help for alcohol addiction. Some need help for drug addiction. Some need help for PTSD. Some people are criminals. They've chosen a lifestyle of being a criminal. Pickpockets are criminals. There are criminals, and they're organized. There are people who sell drugs. There are people in this community that sell drugs to the homeless and the panhandlers. And yet, why aren't we getting these drug dealers off the streets? I said at one of the parks, I guarantee I've watched the guys who deliver and pick up. And there's the guys out there that are lookouts. I'm going to get into that on the next video. So anyway, if you want to help, you can do it first off by just starting driving around your town, understanding where the hot spots are. You can get on Mega Locally. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. I mean, we volunteered our time. My son and I set this site up. You can get on the map, click on it. You can understand where the hot spots are. You know where they're at. I challenge anybody to go to Spiva Park tonight at 8 o'clock. I've walked in Djibouti, Africa, Baghdad, Iraq, all over places where it's not safe. Well, I tell you, when I walked down there at dark at 8 o'clock last night, wow. I'm glad I don't have a business down there. I'm glad I'm not a resident down there. And what's odd, it's right next to the police department. It's right next to Central Christian City Church. It's right next to City Hall. But when you ask these managers at these stores, there's nothing we can do about it. So then you go to the police department, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, there's things we can do about it if we are united as a citizenry. That's how you solve problems. So join me on my next video. Appreciate you listening. If you can, subscribe to this channel, like it. As soon as I get 50 subscribers, I'm gonna do some live streams from the parks. I'm gonna talk to these individuals. I've sat and bought coffee for 2 of them yesterday. I wanted to know what their story is. I'm going to continue to do it, and I am going to start live streaming to show you what's going on. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good day.